Hey everybody, this is Grace. I am on my way to go to a Walmart near me to get some things. Some of my insulin and the needles. So the syringes and the looking for a particular size of the needle though. Okay. Here you go. And I want to talk about this, about people who want to reinvent your wheel. When I was a child, I mean, I'm 60 now, but when I was a child, and I think I was too young to fully understand what reinventing the wheel meant. And I'm going to tell you, since then, since I was a child, I never looked it up again, I don't think. Maybe once. You know, what does it mean, reinventing the wheel? I mean, literally, you don't want to keep reinventing something that's already been invented. You know, it's already there. What are you going to do? Start making square wheels, or you know, yeah, you tweak them, but you don't totally reinvent it. Now, it's been on my mind lately because of several reasons, but here's one of them that may be a good example. Okay, maybe, but it's basically that hold on, let's see. Okay, if you hear the air conditioner, it's because when I got in my SUV, it said it was 90, and it's right now I just got in it a few minutes ago. Right now it's 12:15. Yeah, this is May 7th. 90 degrees. Wow. Yeah. But I mean, well, this is Texas, so anyway, about reinventing the wheel. A good example, like I said, happened recently, is that we have one of those, I don't know if you know much about refrigerators. I know I don't. And we have one that's a Kenmore Elite. We had it over 20 years. We bought it right after we moved into, well, bought our house. Like right over 20 to 25 years ago. And it's been great, wonderful. But yeah, a few times you had to change a fan or something like that. Now, I remember refrigerators from, you know, when I was young, eons ago. And they would, the top part, some of them would get iced over. Same thing with freezers. And you had to take everything out and let it defrost, and all that kind of stuff. You know, well, I didn't know that you still had to do that kind of thing. But Adam did. Adam's older than I. We met married over 40 years ago. And he usually takes care of that kind of stuff. Yeah. And he that's his thing. That, and what's financial, like he did my taxes for last year. Oh my goodness, what a mess. And I'm like, my brain, I was having my blood pressure was going up and having such a problem trying to even concentrate on it. And I have a genius IQ. Not bragging, just stating fact. I couldn't handle it. Could not. And usually, whenever it's something that has too many solutions or too many things attached to it, that when my brain just goes, like, don't hand me a Rubik's Cube. Nope, don't hand me one. I love puzzles. The puzzles are my thing. But, I mean, I can do puzzles, pieces of the puzzles together just fine. But there's just certain things, taxes, anything really that has some kind of a form that can have more forms and more and more and more and more. Nope. Anyway, but he does that kind of stuff like this but these days what he does is he looks a lot of stuff up on YouTube. And like if something's making a rattling noise, he looks it up on YouTube and he finds it. And he says, you wouldn't believe how much money, you know, how much it saved me watching these YouTube videos of people. You know, it's usually guys. I don't think he's ever had one that was a woman. But guys fixing these things, or even something on an auto, or, you know, whatever. And he says, you wouldn't believe how much they've saved me money. So he looked this one up. There's just recently our refrigerator, look at the Kenmore, started making a ticking sound. This is just a few days ago. Now, he was sick with the flu. I'm still sick with, I think, allergies. And So with me, it just knocks me on my butt. Everything, just, whew. And but he looked it up and found out why it was ticking. It was ticking there, and then the other side was going bump, bump every once in a while. It was a mess. And he found it online, and it said that it was the fan. I didn't know there was a fan. I don't know anything about these refrigerators. I admit it. Refrigerators, cars, but so what it was, it's behind the panel, and the fan or whatever it recirculates or whatever, it has ice on it. And he told me that he knew that, but he just hadn't done that in like 10 years. Well, okay, you know that. You know it has to be done. But he tried to blame it on me. And that was the problem. Because he said that I was, like, I make myself a salad every day. At least one, sometimes two. You know, spread like 12 hours apart, but, or however many hours. But anyway, a salad. And the island in our kitchen, it's a small one. And it's right there next to that. It was in the middle of the room. It's an island, you know. Hello. Anyway, it's right there next to the door. Where I have on the door, I have my salad supplies, okay? Man, let me tell you, this heat is something else. The sun, whew. Anyway. So right there is where I put all my stuff for my salad. You know, inside, of course, the door. The refrigerator door. It's one of those, on the right side is the refrigerator, and the left side is the freezer. All the way down, from top to bottom. You know what I'm saying? Side by side, or whatever. Okay, why is that open? Somebody just left their car sitting there with the door open? Well, okay, let me take a year to try to find a parking spot in here. It's right next to the interstate. He can't find his car. He turned around with the biggest grin, didn't he? Oh my goodness, I can't find my auto. Haven't we all done that? You do know just to blink your thing. Yeah, I know I said blink. Oh, I think he found it. Woohoo, maybe he found it. But he's still looking, and he's still like, oh my goodness. He's a young guy. He's walking right in front of me. In front of my car. As you saw. Look young to me, but everybody does. Not everybody. Okay, trying to get my right pair of shoes here. Anyway, where was I? Okay, the refrigerator. And so right there is, we're right on the door. I put everything, you know, lined it up, have it all nice and pretty. So everything, I know it's right there. I don't have to go to the refrigerator anywhere else. The chopped up onions, everything. I learned not to buy diced onions. That's my experience. So I dice them. I don't even dice them. I just cut them open, and then whenever I need to use them, I dice them. Okay, that's easy. But everything's right there. And what I do is, it's a habit of mine, always has been. But I didn't know there was a parking spot there. Anyway, I take everything out, put it on, and the island's not big. It's not a big island, you know, that goes way across a whole room and stuff. In our kitchen, and there's a separate breakfast nook, but it's all together. But that takes up quite a bit of it. So the island's not that big. So what I do is I take everything out, to put it there, and each time that I finish with something for my salad, you know, it's like a chef salad. I just don't put meat on it. So once I do that, I put it right back in there. I leave the door open. It doesn't take me an hour to make a salad without any meat, you know, chef salad. It just takes a few minutes. Okay? And because I don't have much room, I want to know which one. Okay, I put it back in there. I don't need to do that one again. You see, I got a little thing going on. It's you know, like a routine of how to do something. I don't know if the rest of you, when you started getting older, you started getting routines of how you did this or how you did that, because it simplifies things. And when you have so much stuff, so many things, like I was a career student for over 20 years. I worked part-time jobs during most of it. It was part-time seasonal during most of it. And I was a homemaker. Okay. That's a lot going on right there. So other stuff, I just need it in a routine, do it, figure it out how it works best for me, and done. Don't want to reinvent that wheel. But since Adam was wanting to blame me, what he didn't do was the maintenance, you know. He told me that it's my fault because I leave the door open while I make my salad. You hear my sarcastic pause, right? I mean, come on. So he, after that, every time he's, you know, well, I was going to continue to do what I do anyway. He would say, I said not to do that. You know, real like, you know, boy, listen, mister, I don't care what you think. You are not the boss of me. But anyway, I mean, he was throwing temper tantrums, really. And then he fixed it. You know, like I said, he had the flu, I had the flu. No excuse. You know, I don't know if I had the flu, then I had allergies, whatever, but my eyes are red and swollen, and my eyes and my nose itch, even my ears are now itching. Wow. It's crazy. But he actually did go to the doctor, to an urgent care, finally got him one of them, and they took the test, and they said that he does have the flu. That was days ago, though. Anyway, mine is just allergies. I have them every year. Every time I would go, they would say, it's just allergies. It's not the flu. Well, by the time I actually went, the flu probably was over with. Because when I'm sick, I don't want to go. I don't want to get out and go to the doctor. I don't want to. I don't feel like going anywhere. Please don't hit her. Thank you. So anyway, there he was. He throws temper tantrum. So I said, okay, I'm going to give this a shot. Now, there's a whole story, a whole thing behind that. Goes back years ago with this guy's mother I knew, and he was just out of the hospital. I had to get him in the hospital. Oh, it's a big old long story. And she was the type that, this is how she said it. You take something out of the refrigerator, like you're making a sandwich. It was a sandwich with her. Take something out of the refrigerator to make your sandwich, and then you use that, then you put it back in the refrigerator, and then you get something else out, and you shut the door each time that you get something in and out. You shut the refrigerator door. Do any of you hear why this is all kinds of wrong? Okay. You take your mayonnaise or your mustard, whichever one you like, if you like either one of them, out of the refrigerator. That means your door's open. You put it, you shut the door back, because that few seconds that it takes you to put the mayonnaise on your bread is too long for that door to be open. Then you take that mayonnaise and you put it back. You open the door again, put it back in the refrigerator, and shut the door. Decide what you want next. Seriously, the woman was dim-witted or what? And she told me this. Remember when I said about having a genius IQ? And anyway, I had told Adam that story years ago, okay, about how this woman was. And he latched on to it. Because Adam and I had this little disagreement about how long the refrigerator door or the freezer should be open. Now, I'm not going to go and cook a whole meal, and, you know, it takes 30 minutes to an hour or 2 hours or however long. He comes from a country across the globe, and his family, I'm serious, the women that I have, like his mother and his sister, some of his female cousins, when they cook, like they come to visit or something like that, when they cook, it takes all day. They start at like 7 o'clock in the morning to cook the supper that they have at 7 o'clock in the evening. Okay, it tastes like mush. Now, there used to be some meat, something called meat in it, whatever kind of meat it used to be. It's gone by that time. It's basically nothing left. It's just mush. And that's how they cook. And of course, I'm not going to have my refrigerator door open that whole time. But what I'm doing is making a salad. It's not me making a meal. And so the refrigerator door is not, open the whole time. But Adam believes in, since I had told him that story one time, I said, is that what you want me to do? Like that guy's mother. And so that's our kind of argument back and forth, about this over the years, debate, you could call it. And how long should it be open? But he said that he heard on the on YouTube, guy that said what was the problem. It was that the refrigerator door would be left open too long. Well, too long is not a definition of a set time. And I was listening. He didn't know that he didn't have it plugged in. He's done this before. It's just his headphones. I could hear what he was listening to. And nobody said anything like that. He was trying to say that these experts said this, and nobody said anything like that. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, he wants to win this. But I think it's just totally ridiculous and I've told him things like, I've added to mine, saying things like, don't you think those hinges eventually will wear out if you keep having to open the door every time you turn around? I think he remembers ice boxes. He still calls it ice boxes. I've tried to get out of that habit. I don't remember actual ice boxes. I think I saw one when I was young, but where they actually put the ice in it, the big old chunk of ice and all. And but I think he's older, like I said. I think he remembers things like, I grew up with the same thing. My dad said, don't leave the refrigerator door open. Well, I think it's ridiculous. I think it's stupid. If you can't have that door open like 2 minutes, 5 minutes while you're doing something, that's ridiculous. That they're that bad. Now, it's been 10 years. 10 years. Not 10 months. 10 years since Adam has defrosted it. So my leaving that open has been so horrible. I can't even keep a straight face because that's stupid. 10 years. And me making my salads for I don't know how many years of that. And then it finally needs to be defrosted. 10 years. I'm telling you, sometimes, oh my goodness. And some people will say, well, no, it's you. You should take everything out and just close the door. And then a couple minutes later, after you've done everything, then put it all back in. Well, to me, that might be making it all get bad. I could say the same thing. Everything that's sitting out on the countertop while I'm making it is getting bad in the process. See, I can say that too. But it's just ridiculous, okay, people? For somebody to want to reinvent my wheel. And now I've been trying just to see how it would be. It is so awkward. Because I got all this stuff up on the, that I had taken out. Well, I'm not going to do the one that's taking it out and putting it back in and taking it out, shut the door, open the door, shut the door. The hinges would wear out, okay? So, people who are that tight with money, they think that, you have to shut the door every time. I'm sorry, I cannot see this. I cannot. Okay, I cannot see it their way. I'm open to the thought. Like I said, I'm trying it out. But it's the whole routine for me, and that it does not make sense. It literally does not make sense. And it's the same thing like he said, and when you're getting your ice, our ice maker never worked right. And so we don't use it. So we just get the ice thing. I'm the only person that drinks anything with ice, and it's diet caffeine free drinks. Okay, get the ice out of the thing. So it's just me, and I wash my hands before, and the cups and everything, and the door and all that. Not wash it, but you see, make sure my hands are clean. Always make sure my hands are clean. And he said, when you do that, make sure you have everything prepared before you open it up to get ice. He was, I don't know if I should excuse it off because he had the flu, and just see, I don't really excuse people off when they're not feeling well, of being really rude or really thinking they're boss or something. But I was thinking that recently, saying something about it, about a man in a doctor's office, and the people didn't understand that yes, he speaks English. It's his second language. It's pretty obvious that it's his second language, but he can't read it. How many of me Not me. How many people speak, people who were born in the USA, that's the best way to put it, who were born and raised in the USA speak 2 languages? Maybe a good chunk, you know, here in Texas, but maybe anywhere. But still, do you know how to, you know, I understand that of 4, I think, some of it, not fluent in any of those, but except for my own, but I can't write them. Okay, and that's with a guy. I can't read it, and I can kind of read some of them, but not write. You know, I wouldn't exactly know how to spell the words. Anyway, but so he's going to try to read this. They give a little, it's kind of like what is it called? You know, those iPads or something like that, and they give to fill out. And he said, "Y'all are just making it difficult for me, this patient at a doctor's office." He said, "Y'all just make it difficult for me to see the doctor." And they weren't picking up on the fact that he couldn't read. You see, and so he was getting grumpy. He was a grumpy old man, you know, really. But he had a right to be, in a way. Pick up on stuff like this. Pay attention. Be there when you're there. You know, have a little empathy toward people. I just didn't see that happening. I immediately picked up, but then again, you know, like I said about my IQ, I'm going to pick on stuff like this because I'm also a social behavior scientist. So I'm going to pick it up, but I don't think it takes a genius to figure out when somebody's having an issue like that. So he was sick, ill, whichever one it is. I forgot years ago. But, so I don't know if I should, and then I was tested. I'm always tested on things. Whenever I see it, something generally, not always, but generally comes up that tests me too. And I've been grumpy whenever I had this, I think it was the flu first, then second time this year, and I haven't had it in years. But when I had this time, this last, you know, starting, I think it started at the end of last month. I think today is 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago. And I was grumpy. Now I wasn't saying, you know, let me reinvent your wheel. I just can't believe, I can and I can't believe that he was like that. Because like I said, this has been a thing between us. You know, we have argued this point for years. You know, debated it. So, okay, as I was walking into I had to go get some, like I said, insulin. As I was walking into it, I just got out of my SUV, started walking. I realized it might be closed for lunch soon. So I got out and went. There was a guy walking around my age, maybe 5 years older or so, and a white guy. And there was a white woman in front of him around the same age. Okay, I wonder if this person is planning on getting in their lane. Seriously. Oh. Anyway, as I was walking in, this guy, he was yelling out, and he says, I couldn't understand a word she was saying. He said, I'm not racist, but I couldn't understand a word she was saying. And he was real loud. And I was like, you know, I was thinking, yeah, you know, anyway. And she was saying, and she responded with something, like she was really trying to get away from him. She was saying, well, you know, and it sounded like she said, I know what you mean, but I have 20-minute lunch break. So I don't think she was with him though. And I was like, yeah. Yeah, I taught against racism, sexism, ageism, classism, all those negative isms, as I call them. I taught against all that. Whoa. Okay, I better get on. That curve wasn't all that great right there, really. It doesn't let you see. Yeah. Man, that was scary. But anyway, and I thought, okay. Then I went in to get something, and it had nothing to do with language barrier or anything like that, by the way. But I just thought, you know, about this guy, and there was some different, you know, people from different ethnic groups around. And I was like, you're yelling this stuff. You know, he's throwing a temper tantrum. Speaking of temper tantrum, don't know the guy, never saw him before in my life. pretty much certain. And yeah. So, okay, where was I in all this? I'd call Adam and see if he wanted to get Sonic, and what he wanted. He wants 2 of the foot-long conies. I said, do you realize how much sodium that is? Okay. He doesn't think about stuff like that. I've had to do it because I have a rare health condition. I've had to my whole life to monitor everything that I eat, you know, to this, to that, to the other, whatever. Always something new. Always. Anytime I go to the doctor. Well, there was one time one of these doctors, I asked she was probably an MA, you know, medical assistant, to call me back, and after, you know, my blood test results and all that, and she read off what the doctor said that I couldn't eat, like meat. He said I couldn't eat meat, and she just kept reading it off. I said, would you like to tell me what I can eat? And she paused for a minute, and she was reading over it. She goes, you're right, you can't eat anything. Seriously, it was I couldn't eat anything. I'm not kidding. I went to another doctor that I had been going to before then, and I went to the other doctor, and I stopped going to that one because she got kind of weird. But her nurse, I think it was an MA, was just so rude, just unbelievably rude, and anyway, so I went to her, and she said, no, you don't just have to stop eating meat. Why would he tell you that? You know? But hey, these days I'm pretty much not. Anyway, back to the story. So I went to the counter to you know, to see something, and I started asking a question. And first off, there was a boy. He was training a woman, a young man, training another young person, and they acted like I wasn't even there. There's nobody in line. I'm standing there. I'm going back and forth between both of the things, you know, letting them know that they couldn't see me or something. And I started to say something right then. He looked, he goes, I'm over here. And they were right side by side. I did go to that one, and then I went to that one, and then I went back to that one. As I was going back to, I'm over here. Man, talk about rude. I said, well, that's good. And I mean, it was kind of a little bit shocking for somebody to be rude like that. But not really. Not really. I mean, I should be used to it by now. But I call my videos Life in Narcissismville. You know, when stuff like that happens, there's of course, no place called Narcissismville, but you get the gist. And it's not always narcissism either. But anyway, so I started to tell him what I wanted, and he interrupted me. And I am tired of that crap. I am sick, as you could imagine, with people interrupting me before I say even one word. No. And I said, you need to listen to me. He just kind of didn't, you know. It was like he was stunned at that point because probably nobody's ever told him. Anyway, it was one of those that he wasn't going to shut his mouth, stand in line and wait your turn as far as speaking. I'm so tired of this. So anyway, got what I needed, did put the card in. The card wasn't doing right. The card wasn't doing right here either. I don't know if they've changed it somehow or what. It's nothing my card. My card is straight as it always is. Nothing's bent on it that it wouldn't work. But anyway, and I was taking it out, putting it in, and it had like a stop. And then when I pushed the button, then it says, you know, if I want to pay by card, all of a sudden it started working. Okay. And the other one, I kept pushing it, you know, I pushed it in, and I pushed it in, and it didn't do anything. He said, just take it out and put it in. You know, like, okay. So, got what I needed, started to leave, and he just kind of, the bag, you know, like, with a gruffy kind of attitude toward me, the bag, and I said, you're welcome. And he once again, it's like, he kind of shook, because, you know, the social contract is that you buy something somewhere, they say thank you. I don't think a lot of people know that anymore, but that's the social contract. I use my money to buy something, to purchase something somewhere. The person who is the cashier thanks us, thanks anybody who's buying something, who's paying money. That's the social contract, okay? You're my sarcasm. This is ridiculous. Okay, but I'm going to be real here. So what happened to manners? And so anyway, but as I was walking out, I said something to him. Now, I don't know why you're parked right there, but that makes it difficult for people who are actually trying to move through there. Oh my gosh, what happened to manners? Seriously, this person is parked right here at the, see? Parked right here. What is this? What, is this where you're supposed to be parked right here? I've been using my horn a lot more lately, and I honked and he moved. But I guess he was texting. Of course, I don't know if he was texting, but it did seem like he was. It was a man around my age. Yeah, let's just stop right in the middle of the road and text. Really, what happened to manners? Anyway, I said something to this guy, you know, as I left, you know, I said, you're welcome. I said, learn some, I think I said courtesy, you know, to be courteous or something. He's probably very stunned. Maybe he was never ever taught how you are with customers. What is your role as you know, when people are buying, when they're paying money? Yeah, you know, they don't owe us anything. I mean, you know, if they're going to buy something, they do, but they don't have to. They can go to other places. They can go into other stores. So maybe more people need to do that. You got a rude person working in some store, you know, if they can't take the hint that, you know, how are they going to know? Because you remember these days you've got these idiots that are racist, sexist, and ageist that will call you a Karen if you speak to the manager. You know, and that is racism, sexism, and ageism, because it's usually white middle class women. I mean, white middle aged women. Yeah, I keep saying that, class instead of aged. I don't like being by stuff that has those big old things on it, you know, and it has warnings all over. I like to be right next to them. Yeah, I don't know about you. I remember when we were young, when Adam and I were young. I mean, we were students. I was students for a long time, but he worked at a place that those big diesel gas trucks, you know, that deliver the gas and all. And he told me a story about he wasn't never a driver or anything, but he told me a story about one of them that was on the highway going in Houston, and the tire flew off and killed the person behind it. So he said, never follow close to one of those. Well, my thing is, I don't want to be anywhere near it. Hey, our gas over there is $3.05 at Sam's, but a gallon. But yeah, I don't want to be anywhere near places. I've seen one of those things on the ground, you know, on the road. Those what do they call tanks? You know. Yeah. Anyway, I've also seen one of those. I almost hit it. One of those things for natural gas, or what is it called? Stuff that you use on your barbecue pits, or you know, what is it called? I don't use them, so I don't know. Okay, I think I've wrapped up all the stories about about Adam. You know, don't reinvent my wheel. But what I have noticed is, it messes me all up. It kind of, you know, just trying to do it. Kind of don't want my salad because it's just so messy to do it, and I'm particular. I mean, I have this set in place so I don't have to think about everything. You know, you get a routine. You don't have to keep thinking about it. You don't have to keep saying, okay, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that this way, that and the other. You already have a routine. Man, how many things? Like I have to put my times that I take medications and which ones I take at those times on my boy, where are my words today? Sometimes. But, you know, on my alarm, the alarm goes off. It's whatever time of the day that I need to take whatever this or the insulin. Because it's, at one point, just recently, last month, it was 11 times a day. Seriously, for different things that I had to had to take or had to do. Like I had to take, keep a record of my. I had to cut some of that off because it was a young kid, teenager, I guess. And I don't put other people's kids in my videos, so hopefully I got it out. But basically, I was saying that I put, all these times I have to take this medication or that supplement or that insulin, and then I had to add 2 extra to it. It was to test an hour after I was taking my blood pressure medication, to test it 3 times a day actually. And it came up to like 11 at one point, and I'm like, no. And I was dealing with taxes. That was in April, and I'm like, this is too much. It was raising my blood pressure to have to monitor everything, have to wait every time I turned around. And I was trying to work too on top of it all, and I'm going to have these alarms going off saying take this, do this, that. I said no, enough. I don't remember why I was talking about that. I had to pause and do all this, but I'm wrapping it up. Talk to you on the